Hello, and how are you? I've just been doing some work in the library, just putting the finishing touches to my book. I left Christianity and found Christ. Dealing with corruption inside the Christian quote-unquote world. It's a devastating book. I'm hoping to release it in 2 weeks. I left Christianity and found Christ. However, talking about finding, today I found a story, a very disturbing and controversial story regarding the tube explosion. I think 20 odd people got injured. It could have been devastating. It could have been worse. We could have had countless loss of lives. However, believe it or not, I do not find the tube explosion to be shocking, because that is what I expect from Islam. I have countless videos dealing with the terrorist Quran, which pontificates what we should do with people who are unbelievers, who are infidels. So it does not surprise me, these kind of terrorist activities. It doesn't surprise me at all. I'm not shocked in the slightest. If there was no terrorism, then I would be shocked, because Islam is a terrorist religion. So if there were no terrorism, then I'd be shocked. I'd be terrified. What was going on? No terrorism. But Islam is a terrorist religion. And there's no two ways about it. What I did find shocking, however, is not Donald Trump's statement when he says that all terrorists are demented. You have to be demented if you're going out your way to kill countless people, whatever the reasons, politically, religiously, spiritually, whatever. If you're going out your way to kill thousands of people or hundreds, then you have to be demented. There's something wrong with you. You're a psychopath. But it wasn't Donald Trump, if you like, Twitter, when he wrote on his Twitter that these Muslim terrorists are demented. It was Theresa May's response to that. Theresa May, she insulted Donald Trump. This is a woman who, during the Glenwell fire, she totally ignored the ethnic minorities, totally ignored all the people who died in that fire, and went and offered her condolences, not to the victims, but to the firemen for doing a good job. Totally ignored the ethnic minorities who died in the Glenwell house fire. Yet this hypocrite, this same hypocrite, she's now condemning Donald Trump for speaking hard and strong and patriotically, arguing that these people are terrorists, demented, and must be stopped. Theresa May did not like that comment. And although I say I find it shocking, really I don't, because a Muslim can plot against your life. They can kill you, assassinate your family. And if you argue this is wrong, and the reason why it is wrong on so many levels is because, number one, you're harming innocent lives, and number two, your religion actually advocates it. That is a hate speech. That is regarded as a hate speech. You don't believe me? Go on the streets when there's a policeman around and you argue, quote from the Quran. In fact, this man was arrested on the train 2 weeks ago merely for reading from the Quran, where it says, behead those who criticize Islam. Quran chapter 10. Quran chapter 2 and 5 and 8. I have these texts memorized to my memory. Crucify them if they do not accept Islam as religion. Crucify them, maim them. So this is the religion of Islam. If you don't accept Muhammad as a prophet, then you go to hell. Kill you, you go to hell. There's no heaven for you. No heaven, you rat. No heaven for you. However, you're not allowed to say that truth. You're not saying a lie, you're reading from the Quran. But the Western government, who are busy giving the Arab big dick a blowjob, the Western government, they've got a conflict of interest. What they're doing, they're looking after their interest. Not your interest, not your safety, they're looking after the interest. Hence, when the tube explosion took place, Theresa May was busy having good memories, fond memories, when she met up with Saudi Arabia, selling arms to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, who fund Muslim terrorists. But Theresa May was too busy remembering the blowjob she gave Saudi Arabia. So she was not about condemning Muslim terrorism. She's not about that. She's about making money, her career, and sealing good deals. However, what I find alarming is how many people can be so distracted. Oh, multiculturalism, this is the fruit of multiculturalism. No, Islam is not multicultural. Islam is a terrorist religion. It has nothing to do with multiculturalism. Black people dating white people, Sikhs dating white women dating black men, black women dating, white men, black men, whatever. That's multiculturalism. That has nothing to do with terrorism. So please, when Muslims are doing evil and wickedness, don't put my black skin on that same level. This is a danger of multiculturalism. You're too damn thick. You've allowed the government to poison your brain that you can't see the difference between Muslim jihad, Islamic religion, and normal, quote unquote, multiculturalism. Multiculturalism is not terrorism. Islam is terrorism. These same thick idiots regard Sikhs who wear a turban as Muslims. This is where irrational thinking gets you. This is where you have too much strange water, too much chemicals and hormones in your water. The government's been poisoning you, that you can't think right. Just because someone is a Sikh and have a turban does not mean they're Muslims. Just because you see an interracial couple does not make them a Muslim. Multiculturalism is not terrorism. Terrorism is Islam. Muslims are inside a system that practices and endorse terrorism. Don't confuse me with no goddamn Muslim terrorist. But of course, the government, they do not want to educate these thick idiots, and the reason being the government are protecting these Muslim terrorists, so they don't mind how they water it down. Multiculturalism, look at it, this is the result of multiculturalism. So the distraction comes off the Muslims. Another reason why people like to blame multiculturalism, they're cowards, they're scared of Muslims. They won't isolate the germ, isolate the problem, and say, look, this is the Quran, this is the Bakharis, this is the deeds. They won't do that. So they blame multiculturalism. In other words, I don't want to commit. I don't want to commit and get myself killed, get my throat cut. So they blame multiculturalism. They won't just blame Muslim Islam by itself. These cowards. Oh, it's multiculturalism. Load of nonsense. Theresa May, I don't believe that she alone is in denial regarding the seriousness of this global terror. If there was no oil inside Arabia or Muslim countries, then the Western leaders would do something about terrorism. But they do not have the will or the desire to do something about it. And that's the reason why your life, every time you travel, whether on an aeroplane or a train, your government is compromising your safety. But then you and I are also prostitutes. Are you willing to give up your car, which has petrol in? Are you willing to give up your lifestyle, healthy, good lifestyle, to, and sacrifice Muslim oil? Capitalism has made us inconsistent, and capitalism has made us into compromising idiots. We don't really understand how the world works. The world needs terrorism. The world needs exploitation. The world needs deception. The government cannot function without disorder. Because remove the disorder, your mind begins to see clearly the agenda. So they need to create confusion in order for this madness, this chaos to work towards their favor. I promise to revamp this channel, focusing on government deception, corruption, and also exposing the drugs company, social workers. There's so many horrible things that is going on in our so-called free world. They envy our freedom. They envy our freedom. What freedom? Oh, because you can vote. Did you know that Theresa May, of course, what they labeled it, she doesn't want to be moved from office, so she's going to rig it. They said, we live in a democracy, we live in a democracy. She's going to rig it so that the people don't get to oust her. This is what they call an extension of parliamentary privilege. She's going to rig it so that we have to put up with her for another 5 years. This is nothing more than North Korea, where you know the only difference is we get to vote in our tyrant leader, but they do what they want in the end. This process of voting is an illusion. How many nurses and doctors vote? How many? And yet they haven't even had a pay rise, not even above the inflation of 2%. Yet they vote every 4 years. Every 4 years. We are living in a necessary illusion. And that's why I don't vote. Although I have conservative values, Republican leanings, I don't vote. Because it's a political minefield of confusion, chaos, and deliberate misinformation. And out of this they create, if you like, extreme far right by feeding misinformation. Oh, the Muslim, they want to kill us, the Muslims want to kill us. And yet the same government are funding the same ISIS, they're funding Saudi Arabia, the same government that's telling you, we want to fight on terror, we're going to deal with immigration. This is another thing I want to go into in greater length. Always the same thing. Immigration, NHS, education, always the same thing for the last 100 years. That's how they control the masses. And nothing ever improves, because if things improve, your mind begins to see them for what they really are. We will always have Muslim terrorism. Why? As long as we need oil, the government will never be honest with us. You ask any government, when's the last time you sold arms to Muslim terrorists. I dare any government to tell me with a polygraph machine jammed up to their brains, a polygraph machine, and say they've never sold arms knowingly to Muslim terrorists or Muslim supporters of terrorism. I dare any government to hook myself to a polygraph machine and say they've never sold arms or weapons to any Muslim terrorist knowingly. They've all done it. They've all done it. There's so much to say. I've been off channel for so long, and you know, I've been banned for speaking the truth. And we are being deceived and we don't realize it. It's not just the government that's deceiving us. The church is off. Religion, religious leaders, they're deceiving us. You got to find truth for yourself, because no one is going to give you the truth. People tell you their versions of it, but they won't give you the total truth, especially when they're going to axe to grind or conflict of interest. What took place in London, that's why I don't travel to London that much, because there's always something happening there, and on a terrorist level. And I know full well that all they'll do, oh, these are bad Muslims, these are bad Muslims, oh, don't slag off Islam. Why? Because their motive, they just want oil. They're self-serving, and that is it.